Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my monthly reset video and you are listening to Victoria. Hi, nice to meet you. If you have not been watching my videos and you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you will find it interesting, and if you have been my follower and watching my videos, then welcome back. We are going to do my May reset. So today is the 1st of May and we are going to review my annual goals, my budget, and my in and out balance, which I feel like I have not been very organized this month. Also with my goals, with my finances a bit better because I could kind of catch up on them. And with my in and out balance, I think it's lacking a lot of what came in and what left, but I will try to review it a little bit. I have a little bit of a sore throat situation, so I'm drinking some tea. And you should also grab some tea or coffee before you watch this video. So just pause, go get it, and then we can jump in reviewing my goals for 2023 and those that can be broken down to monthly goals. So as I mentioned, this month I was not very organized. The main reason for that is that I was traveling a lot. Like most of the month, like half of the month, I was not here in my apartment in Vienna, but I was somewhere else traveling, either with friends or for business, or I also went on my first solo travel this month. So it was very difficult being outside of my daily routine when traveling to keep up with all my monthly goals or weekly goals even. But let's just go quickly through. So the first one that I had, which is a health and wellness goal, is to go swimming once a month. And in the month of April, I did not go swimming. When I could have gone, when I did have the time, when I was back here in Vienna, I had my period, so I just don't want to go swimming when I have my period. It's just my preference. And so it didn't happen, but maybe in May I will go twice. I don't know, we'll see. I really definitely want to go at least once, so hopefully at least that will work out. I won't be traveling that much. I will travel once for sure, and I will also go home to Hungary at least once. So that is always a bit of an outside of my routine kind of situation, but it's not gonna be as much as in April. Then the second one is to get the micro club subscription. So in April I renewed my subscription and I was going to take classes. I continued to take some reggaeton and Zumba classes, and I also tried a yoga class which I really liked. So this week I'm planning to go back again to that yoga class. And yeah, I am still doing the 4 times a month subscription for 49 euros. Then read every day before sleeping. So with this one, I still kind of kept my routine quite well, even though I was traveling and I was out of my normal routine most of the months, or half of the months at least. But I did read less days than in the previous months, I believe. Just looking at it now, going back to the previous months, it feels like I have read on less days. I have read on 24 days out of the 30 days in April. So I guess that's a pretty good ratio, especially considering that I was really outside of my routine. So I'm gonna give that check mark to myself because I think I did very well. Then in habit tracking, I have been tracking my habits. That doesn't mean that my habits were very consistent, however. Alcohol consumption was really going up this month. I have drank alcohol 11 days out of 30. It has a lot to do with traveling and also hanging out with friends. Even though on my travels, I still tried to not drink every day. So when I was traveling to Italy, for example, I only drank in 1 week 3 times. So yeah, every second day, let's say. Yeah, which means I have been drinking alcohol over 1/3 of the days of the month, which yeah, as I mentioned before, I feel like that's a bit too much. Have to work on lowering that. In May, I feel like I can lower that. In June, it might be difficult because I will be not here. I will be traveling for the most part, for work mostly. But what happens when I travel for work is that we go out for dinner a lot with colleagues and friends. So, and then, just a glass of wine here and there or whatever else, gin tonic. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully May. Yeah, I definitely want to drink less in May. Continuing the habit tracking. So reading was another habit that I was tracking. As I already told you, I was reading 24 days out of 30. Exercise, this was going quite a bit down compared to what I was doing in the first 3 months of the year. And I have only exercised 12 days out of 30. However, there are a few days when I was solo traveling, I was walking an average like 19,000 steps a day. So I do consider that as a workout, kind of, but I didn't include that in my exercise tracking actually. But for example, yesterday I did a bit of yoga in the morning and then I went for a short hike. Other days I do yoga in the morning and I go for a dance class in the afternoon. So sometimes it's more than one exercise per day. What I really want to get into again, since the weather is now getting better, is going out for runs. Because at some point I was running 3 times a week a year ago, or even, yeah, it probably was already 2 years ago. And I was building up this habit of going every second day in the morning, and it was quite nice. I mean, I don't like running, so that's why I have to motivate myself. And as soon as the weather is like not good enough, I'm like, okay, this is the habit that I can give up very easily. Let's see, May. And then the last habit, or it's not even a habit, it's just something that I'm tracking, is the headaches. And this month I had quite a few. In March I had only 1 day of headaches. This month I had 6 days of headaches. They were connected to, I don't know, I was a bit under the weather a few times, maybe from all this traveling, my body was like, okay, slow down, don't walk that much, don't go every day and do stuff, but also take some time to relax. So sometimes my body feels very tired, and then these times I kind of oversleep and then I have a migraine. Yeah. Then the next goal that I had is to move at least 5 days a week, which, well, I guess I did move 5 days a week because of all these like walking as well, which I didn't consider as exercise. But when I was in Rome, one day I was walking 24,000 steps, and then in Florence an average 19,000 every day. Sometimes it was 16, but sometimes it was over 20, depending on the day. And towards the end I got like really easily tired in the last 2 days, so I was walking a bit less than in the first few days. But yeah, overall I think I can say that I moved at least 5 days every week. 1 day a week without social media I did 3 times this month, 3 Fridays. There was one Friday when I was working at an event when I didn't really do this, keeping off of social media, because there were some down times in between when it was pretty boring to sit around. So then I just scrolled social media to entertain myself. And then therapy. I didn't do therapy this month. Somehow I was just too busy with everything else. And it's something that you have to schedule in advance, and like quite a bit in advance. So that was just something that I also didn't feel like I needed this month. But I definitely should schedule one soon. And then my personal goal is just to check in a little bit. So reading 20 plus books this year, I think that's gonna happen very soon, actually, that I'm gonna reach that. I'm already at 15 books that I have finished this year. Not only reading, but also listening, like audiobooks. Then the business and YouTube goals is to upload 2 videos a week on YouTube. In April, I definitely managed to do that, and every week I did upload 2 videos. reach 1000 subscribers on YouTube. This month my YouTube subscribers really slowed down and I had only 5 new subscribers the whole month of April, which is really low. Like, I have not had such low numbers since I started to upload videos at the end of 2021. So yeah, guys, what's going on? Subscribe. I don't think my videos are that bad. And definitely, if I had more subscribers, that would encourage me to work harder on my videos. Yeah, I still didn't start an Instagram account. And yeah, the rest of the things are pending for this year. Yeah, so those were the goals review for the month of April, or like at the end of April as a summary. And let's move on to the 2023 April budget. All right, so let's move on to the budget and let's quickly go through my fixed costs in the month of April. I had this month a little bit higher fixed costs than in March, as you can see. And it is because this month, every second month, I have to pay for heating, 96 euros. So this month I had to pay, last month I didn't. And every year I give 60 euros to to Samariterbund, which is the minimum amount that you can donate. And basically they signed me up. On the first week when I moved in, they went through the whole building and they were signing people up for it. And I didn't really know how to communicate at that time, and like in German, and how to say no. I mean, I knew how to say no, but I didn't want to be rude. And I mean, 6 euros a year is not a lot, and actually giving to charity is a good cause. Obviously, it's just that I want to decide for myself what kind of charities I want to give. But then I decided, okay, Samariterbund sounds okay. However, they spent a lot of money on sending me letters and printing out papers and asking for more money, and I feel like they spend way more money on me than what I actually give them, which is a bit weird. So yeah, I'm not sure. I might want to look for another place to donate my money, actually. But I don't want to get into details about that. Everything else, so house insurance is once a year. It's gonna come in September. Electricity. So electricity, yes, I wanted to speak about it because I got my annual electricity bill, which is basically a summary of how much I have paid last year and how much I actually used. I paid 14 euros less than what I used, apparently. So I used a bit more, which is very strange because then my consumption says that I consumed less electricity in the year of 2022, or like they look from April to April. I consumed less electricity than the year before, but somehow I still had to pay extra, which is a bit strange. Like, how do they calculate it then? And every year they adjust your payment. So I pay electricity every 3 months, so quarterly, and my quarterly payment went up from 68 euros to 80 euros for the next year, or from April onwards. However, I got a 150 euro, what is it called that I got? Like, they deducted 150 euros for something. They call it Energiekostenausgleich Guthaben. I'm not sure if I had to apply for this or everyone gets this automatically. It's some kind of a subsidy from the state. I'm not quite sure, but I got 150 euros deducted, which means I actually don't have to pay any electricity until August. And they actually owe me money, like 55 euros. So I'm like, okay, that's good. So that means that in this year, I will have to pay 2 more times for electricity, each time 80 euros and 40 cents, which is 160 euros and 80 cents. So now I have 8 more months left in the year, and I'm just gonna separate that 160 euros into 8 months, and then kind of every month I will put that much amount in the virtual wallet. And then, yeah, whenever they deduct it, then I pay it. It's fine. So at the end of the day, even though they raised, because I got this like subsidy, I actually pay less this year, or will pay less than last year. Interesting. I don't know. And I also got 200 euros bonus, like klima bonus, I guess they call it here, which is like also a state subsidy to everyone who lives in Vienna, I believe, or lives in Austria, because of the inflation rate and because of the energy crisis. They gave us last year 500 euros, which was 250 klima bonus, 250 something else, like energy something, I think, energy subsidy. And then this month I got for 2023 the klima bonus, which is 200 euros. So that's also just supposed to help with the cost of living crisis, I guess. I'm not sure, but yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't really have to pay that much for my electricity and heating because the state gives back so much money. So that's good. I guess I shouldn't complain for sure. Anyway, so that's a total of 810 euros and 82 cents for the month of April of fixed costs. And then my variable costs. So there are a few variable costs brackets, I guess we could call them, where I went a bit overboard. One of them is the dining out and takeout one, but the reason for this is, yes, because I was traveling, I had friends visiting, we were going out way more than I normally would, even though my dining out budget actually doesn't include the times when I was eating out or having a coffee during my trip, because when I travel, that goes from my travel budget. So if I eat out when I travel, which most of the time I do, then that is not included in this dining out takeout budget. In that one, it's only if I order something home to here, or if I go out with people to have a drink, to have a coffee, or to have lunch, dinner, brunch, whatever. So I definitely had a brunch this month in the beginning of the month, which was quite expensive, but it was really nice in a place in Vienna. Then we went out many times for coffee. Once we ordered in, like last night, we had a board game night and we ordered in. And yeah, it's just, it's April, the weather is getting better and people want to go out and enjoy their time. And I am definitely up for that. So that's why this budget went up. Plus, I also invited my friend who was visiting me for most of the meals that we have shared and went out for. I paid both of our bills because she was paying a lot of, or almost every meal when I was visiting her in Malaysia. So, it's only fair. So that's why it was a bit higher. This one definitely includes me inviting other people for lunch or dinner or drinks or coffee. So that's why it's such a high number. And usually, I don't think I ever have gone over 200 euros in this budget category before. And because I went quite above my monthly budget, now I'm in a minus, but I think I can catch up on that quite easily because the minus is not super huge. Groceries is the next category. Well, on the other hand, because I was traveling and I wasn't around and I was eating out more, my grocery budget went down. So I only spent 152 euros and 7 cents on groceries, and now I have a rollover of 106 euros and 68 cents, which means that in the year of 2023, I have put in so far 800 euros into the grocery budget and I spent less than 700 euros overall. Then gift category, this month I spent a little bit in the gift category under budget, and so now I have a rollover of 20 euros 22 cents. Car budget, which includes parking, fuel, maintenance, whatever, which maintenance for cars I don't really pay because if there's anything, that's my father's pay for it. And also for fuel, we kind of share, so sometimes I have to pay for it, but sometimes, or most of the times, it's my parents. I don't have a car here in Vienna, so the only time I use a car is when I go back home, and so that's why I don't really have a high car expense. The only expense which is pretty high is the toll for using the highway in Austria, which I pay for because I live in Austria. But everything else is just here and there, some parking fees, or sometimes I fuel the car. But yeah, so this month I spent 15 euros and 20 cents, which was parking fee when we were going to Graz. We stayed in a parking garage in the city center, and it's very expensive there. So yeah, that was a splurge, but at the same time it was kind of, a trip, a holiday, and we were enjoying ourselves and didn't want to make our lives difficult with parking somewhere outside and having to get into the city. It would have been the same price, honestly, if we all had to pay for public transport. So, because it was 3 people. And then Buxy. And then the bus and taxi fare, it was 18 euros and 3 cents this month. This includes one trip from the airport to back here, which is a bit more expensive. And then just like day tickets. Actually, I got 2 day tickets, one for me and one for my friend when she was visiting, so that is also included in this. So it was not only all mine. And other than that, because I wasn't really much around in Vienna, this budget category is quite low, plus the weather is good, so I bike. Clothing, yeah, well, this month I spent quite a bit on clothing. We went to this outlet close to Vienna with my family to do some shopping for me. I had a few things on my list that I wanted to buy. I got some shoes and a handbag. So yeah, overall I spent 315 euros and 54 cents, but overall I still have 180 euros in this budget category to spend, and every month I put 50 euros in it. Then medical, well, I didn't spend anything on medical. As I mentioned, I didn't have therapy this month, so I didn't have to pay for it, obviously. And luckily, no other medical expenses, no medications, nothing like that. For my headaches or when I feel like I need some kind of remedy, then I try to go natural first. And if it doesn't work out and I feel like I really need to take something, I do have a stash of painkillers and simple things, if I have a sore throat, something for that. But I try to avoid taking medication if not necessary. Then another one where I went quite a bit above budget, basically I spent almost 3 months budget this month within 1 month, is the self-care budget, which is hygiene, skincare, makeup, these kind of things. And the reason for that is because in April, and it's every half a year, and April and October, I believe, or maybe November, there is this big sales in some of the Hungarian stores, not only skincare, but also clothing, furniture, and some other things, where you can get 20 to 50% off from a lot of things. And I like to use this opportunity to fill up my skincare and hygiene, as well as my supply and maintenance, we will get to that, stash. So I bought definitely some skincare and hygiene items, as well as makeup. And I also bought some of that for my mom, which is also included in this because I paid for it. So it's not only for me, but for my mom. But the skincare or the self-care part is more or less, there are some body lotion and toothbrush, toothpaste, these kind of things, which I also bought for my mom, not only for myself. And then there was also some shopping days or some sales days, also in Austria during the same week, in some of these stores like Douglas, Müller, maybe even the Drogerie Markt. So it must be somehow related that there is this shopping week at the same time. And then they also had 20% off on makeup, and I got a few makeup items as well from Müller as well as Douglas upon this occasion. That's why my spending went up to almost 100 euros in this category, but it's fine because now I really stashed up on a lot of the skincare that I will not have to buy for the next few months. And when it comes to makeup, I will not have to buy these things for maybe a year or more than a year. So it depends on the type of makeup. Like a concealer, I will probably have to purchase in 3-4 months. I also got a lipstick, which I will not have to repurchase for at least 2 years, if not longer. Then furniture, I spent €6 on a lamp. I wanted to replace my nightstand lamp, and I got one which I liked, but it's a bit too small, so I might have to replace it again. I was looking at nightstand lamps for the longest time, and I'm always like, if I like something, then I question its size because I'm afraid it's gonna be too big, and now the one I got is too small. So anyway. It was only €6, so it's fine. I can sell it as well if I find something better. And then the supply and maintenance budget also went over. Normally my budget is €50 and I spent this month €66.83. It's because I bought household cleaning supplies for myself and my mom. For example, dishwasher tabs and dishwasher salt and washing liquid or washing tabs, whatever. So this kind of like household and cleaning supplies. And I got myself also some zero waste cleaning stuff like citric acid and wash soda and stuff like that. So that is why it was a bit over budget, but overall I'm definitely below budget. Then investments, I keep sticking to the €100 per month. That is an automatic investment that I have. I have not looked into any other investment so far. Sport, it was €49, which was the subscription for my clubs. Nothing else. As I said, I didn't go swimming this month, so didn't spend on that. Business expense was only €2.99, which is a subscription. I didn't have anything else this month, and now after a few months we are finally back into positives in this budget category because every month I put €200. But in February, I believe, my expenses were really high, over €600, so I went really into negatives, but now I caught up on that. Then traveling, so obviously this month I spent a lot on traveling, which is something that I'm just not comfortable to share the concrete amount, so I'm not gonna tell you, but basically I paid for accommodation in Florence. I didn't have to pay for my flights to Italy and back because my company paid for that, because I went for an event originally to Rome and I just extended my stay in Italy. But I bought flight tickets to Portugal because next month I'm traveling to Portugal to visit a friend, but there I won't have to pay for accommodation because I'm staying with my friend. So this is how I travel. Just so you know, this is how I can afford to travel so much. It's either for business or visiting friends, so that I can save a lot either on the trip or like the transport or on the stay. And sometimes it's both. In June, most of the months I will be gone for work in Germany and maybe also in Poland, and my trips and my accommodation and everything will be covered, even my food. So this is why I can afford to travel. But yeah, in any case, because of all the meals that I have eaten out in restaurants, and I went into museums and I paid for visiting sites, and even though I'm a low spender when it comes to holidays, I try to keep it low and not splurge. And maybe I skip meals and I just have like one big meal instead of having a lunch and dinner. I just have a dinner and then I have snacks in between. So I really try to lower it and keep it reasonable. But it can add up, especially accommodation. Like accommodation in Italy in these cities are quite crazy. But of course in Rome I didn't have to pay for accommodation. I stayed there for one night. My company paid for that. So I'm not going to share the amount. I just wanted to let you know that it could be way more expensive if you traveled than it is for me, just because of all these opportunities that I get things paid from work. Then blow money. Well, this month I was close to the budget. I spent €46.92. I have a rollover, however, of €130 still, so I'm definitely safe there. So this budget is basically if I want to spend on anything else, which is not included in these other budget categories, then this is the money that I have for that. And so far I have spent this mostly on books, and this month it wasn't different. I spent 40 euros on books this month. I will show you the books, what I got soon. And then the security fund is another one where, because my earnings in March, which is the basis of my budget for April, were pretty good, I could also put a certain amount into my security fund this month. But I'm not gonna share with you the exact amount, so that you don't know exactly how much I earn and exactly how much we're talking about here. But what you can know is, or what you can see is, that my total spending for this month was 1,923 euros and 76 cents without the traveling and without the security fund. Plus, I also put some amounts into my sinking funds. The Christmas one, 35 euros. I put 250 euros into my jewelry sinking fund, because I would like to... Actually, what I would like to do is not to get new jewelry, but I want to bring some of the old, like gold or silver things that I have gotten and I don't really like, or that are really old. Or I have, like, for example, a white gold necklace that broke, and I fixed it once and it broke right away again. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get it fixed again. I kind of want to go to a goldsmith or something. I don't even know, I have to research this, with these like pieces of jewelry that I don't wear or cannot wear because they are broken, and then, you know, kind of see what can be done. Can they create something new out of them, or can I sell it to them and get something new instead? Yeah, so that is something that I want to figure out. And I also started my camera sinking fund, because I really want to up my YouTube game. So I started to collect some money for a camera that I can use for my videos, well, to shoot my videos. And that's it overall. That was my budget for the month of April. And let's move on to the in and out balance and the books mostly. This session, or this section of the video, is just gonna talk about my monthly in and out balance, what moved in with me, meaning like what did I buy or what did I get, and what are the things that I decluttered or I finished or I got rid of. I bought a new belt, just a simple black belt, nothing special. I got it in Hungary in like a small bag and belt store. And yeah, so I got that one because I decluttered an old one which was kind of broken and didn't really look good anymore. But I think I decluttered that already during my big wardrobe decluttering in the last 2 months, in February or March. I bought a pair of sneakers that I really wanted to buy. For a few weeks I have been already looking into buying white sneakers. You know, these just simple white sneakers for going out on the street. It's not for sports. And I got a pair of that. I also have found a pair of black boots, surprisingly. I thought it was not gonna happen. I had a pair of black boots to purchase on my list for a long time, but last year I was doing a no-buy year, so I couldn't. And this year I was like, okay, definitely this is one of the priorities that I need to get, because I really wanted to get rid of my old black boots, which were really old and didn't look very good. And I managed to find some in this outlet where I went. In the normal stores, at the moment, you can't buy boots because maybe only in autumn you can get it, but in the spring season, no way. But in the outlet, they also had out of season stuff, and this was, I guess, left over from our last season. And yeah, it's just a nice, simple vegan leather black boots, and it was also on sale because it was already from last season left over, and it was my size, so it's pretty comfortable. I already wore it. And I got rid of my old black boots, so that went out. I got a pair of jeans. That's another thing that I have been looking to buy for a long time, a certain type of jeans. However, it's still not the right size. And my problem with jeans is always that they are short, and this one is definitely one size shorter than I should get for my length. Plus, maybe I even should get one size bigger with the waist area. So yeah, that was maybe a fail purchase. I will still try to wear those pants. We'll see. Then I got a handbag, and because I got a new handbag, I got rid of my old two handbags, which I didn't really like anymore, and I wanted to replace them with just like one nice one that I can use everywhere. And then, of course, as I mentioned, I got some makeup, a new eyeliner, because that's something you have to replace maybe annually or at least every second year, because it's something that you put on your eye or close to your eye, and you know, bacteria just gets to it, so I just replaced it. I got primer, I got the Dior lipstick, which I was eyeing for a while, and now it was on sale, 20% off, I believe, or 25 even. So I got it. Yeah, it was a splurge still, but you know, sometimes you just have to give yourselves the thing you want. I got a new foundation. That was a hustle to find the foundation or like something like that, which is not horrible ingredients and also has the proper color for my fair skin. I also had to replace my powder, like my finishing powder, which one moved in, one moved out because I finished the old one. I also replaced my toothbrush this month, by the way, for your knowledge. I also replaced my mascara, but I already had purchased last autumn the replacement, so I just opened the new one. I ended up decluttering one of the shirts that I kept during the declutter, and then I wore it somewhere, and then I realized that it has actually some stains, which I have never realized before that it had, and it's also a bit just small. It was a shirt that I got for free at a clothes swap, so it wasn't a big... Then, of course, as I mentioned, I got a new lamp, so I decluttered the old lamp. I replaced my dishwashing brush this month, but FYI, and yeah, and then I got books. I got 6 books, but one of them is only for, I just got it Lent. I bought this book actually, but not for myself. I bought it for a friend or colleague or both. And then she read it, she gave it to me to read it, and I will have to give it back to her after I read it. So I guess this will move out in like 2 months. I got a pamphlet book, and I will have to check if I maybe already have this, but I don't think so. I went to a flea market in Florence, and I found a pamphlet book. I found actually 2, but I like this one more than the other one, like based on the description. So I bought it. It was €2. It's a used book, of course, but I like those, you see. But then I also purchased some brand new books in fact, because Thalia, the Austrian bookstore, the biggest Austrian bookstore, had a sale, and in January I signed up for their program, and I received their newsletters, and I received information about sales and all that, and they had a sale for English language books, where you buy 4, you have to pay only for 3. So that's why I bought 4 books. It was a bit difficult to find 4 books because I didn't have 4 books anymore that I wanted to buy. These 2 were definitely on the list that I wanted to get. This one I already read before. I lent it from someone, and I read it and I really liked it, and I knew at that time that I want to purchase it and read it all over again. Like, this is something that you can go to and read all the time. And then he has a new book. So the same guy, Jay Shetty, has a new book, which is the 8 Rules of Love. And I have listened to some podcasts when he was talking about this, and I listened to his podcast quite a lot on YouTube. And I find his advice and his descriptions and his look on life very nice and useful and grounding, and just, I think he has a very good look on life. I mean, he's a monk, so you know. very spiritual, which I got into spirituality quite a lot in the past few months. I also got this book for a friend's birthday, so now we can both read it. And then I got, well, this book is kind of related to this one, which is also about love. And I read very good ratings and very good opinions about this book, how beautiful it is, so many layers, so many real good information, experiences, and real life truths in this book. So that's why I chose this one. And then I chose the Yuval Noah Harari book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. I read his other books, the Sapiens and the Homo Deus, both of them. I like the Sapiens more than the Homo Deus, and this is supposed to be something very similar to the Sapiens. But I guess people say that he repeats a lot of the things from the previous book. The other book I listened to on Audible, so I thought, okay, well, then I will get this one now and read it. And since, one of these books was for free, I'm not sure which one was the cheapest. The cheapest one was for free. Yeah, so 6 new books, but I only finished, and I didn't talk about that in my habits section. I only finished 2 books this month. Actually, I got 1 more book. Yes, I also got this book this month. I got this sent to me from a friend, and it's just a cute little hand book that you can take with yourself. And it is the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success from Deepak Chopra. And as I mentioned, I got into spirituality lately a lot, and healing and developing my life, self-development, and also just to heal my traumas and, everything that was hurting me emotionally, especially, or mentally. So this book really helps. I'm doing some coaching, and basically my coach sent this to me saying that she thinks that this is really appropriate for me at this season of my life, at this journey that I am currently on with self-development and healing and all that. And I found this book really helpful, and I resonate with a lot of the things that is in it, and I try to follow the recommendations or like the views that these kind of books and authors, and even the monk Jay Shetty is a similar one, or Yung Pueblo, that they have this view on life that I want to live my life according to. And then another book that I finished this month, which was a really heavy read, is The Invisible Woman from Caroline Criado Perez. And honestly, this book should be read by everybody, men, women, young and old. Well, young people might not be reading this. It's basically review of a lot of research. So it's a research review, which normally, and this book is the same, has a lot of data in it, a lot of references. 100 pages of this book is basically references to research, to data, to information online, as well as, like proper scientific research. And there is so much information, so much data, so many details about how we women are not considered to be as equal parts of the humanity and the society like men, and that how man is actually considered as the default human, while women kind of is considered as a minority, and we are left out from a lot of considerations, policy making, urban design, our needs, our differences, because obviously we are biologically different than men. So our biological but also emotional, mental differences, our complexity is not considered in scientific research even, and as I said, urban design, or just in general design of equipment, even the phone designs. And it also talks about abuse and violence against women, and there is so much data and statistics, so much information. When I first started to read it, I was really excited to read this book. And when I first started to read it, I was like, oh my God, this is so heavy. Every sentence is information, new information. Wow, it's just so much to unpack. So it took me a month to finish this book, but it's a very, very important book. And I just wish that it was better known, it was wider spread, that people would just go sit down and take their time to understand this. Especially policymakers, politicians, but also researchers, to have like a better understanding of how much more difficult our life is in this world than men's life. Everything is created for men. Everything is designed with the mind and thought on them. So they are the default, and we are living in this world as if we are like secondary, even though we are over 50% of the population is women, female. It just blows my mind, and it's frustrating, honestly, very frustrating. But I think we need to make changes, and it's not only because we are considered as secondary and we are disadvantaged in so many facets of our lives, but also because if you would not disadvantage us and we were more considered as equal and there would be equity between men and women overall in the society, economy, everywhere, then actually we would all benefit from it, men and women. The economy would benefit from it, and yeah, it would be just a win-win situation. And this is something that people need to understand, that being a feminist is not an ideology, it's not a negative trait. I just want equal treatment, proper opportunities, equal pay. I just want to really be respected and understood. And also I want that my biology is understood by medical personnel, because it's not. And so many times women are discouraged and not believed when they go to the doctor. It's ridiculous. So yeah, just read this book, please. Do our society, yourself, and everyone else a favor and learn about this, because otherwise, that's the first step. First, we have to become aware of the situation and how it could be better. And then hopefully throughout education, there will be people who will be able to make these changes on a societal level. But all of our awareness is necessary for these changes to be implemented. Thank you very much for listening to my rant. If you did, I get very passionate about this topic because it's very important to me, because I don't take injustice very lightly, and I don't accept it. Yeah, so thank you very much for listening to this whole super long video once again. Every month I feel like it's getting longer and longer. I am thinking that I really should just start a podcast because I just can't shut up. Anyway, thank you for tagging along. And if you have finished watching this video the whole way, then please hit the like button so that I know how many people actually watched this whole video. And of course, if you're not subscribed, then hit the subscribe button, and I'm looking forward to see you at my next videos. Until then, goodbye.